Live from the Geico Outkick Studios. You know, right now, Geico is offering an extra 15% credit on car, motorcycle, and RV policies. That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Visit geico.com to learn more. Our long national nightmare is over. Sports are officially back, and they are back in a big way. The Corona Bros have taken a big fat L on this one. Last night, NFL returns in Kansas City with fans present. I thought it went really well. I'll unpack that for you a lot as we finish off the final hour of the week. Also, as if that were not enough, how about the Miami Hurricanes playing in front of crowds down in Miami? Sparse crowds, yes, but crowd present in Miami for the Hurricanes. Power 5 conference football officially back last night. I feel like many people missed the Miami Hurricanes returning because of all the overwhelming attention that was out there for the Texans at the Chiefs. Several different things that I thought stood out on the field. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, incredible asset to the Chiefs. He's going to make what was already the best offense even better. Youngest running back ever to go for 130-plus yards and a touchdown in his debut, 21 years old and about half of a year into his 22nd year. A big-time performance by Clyde Edwards-Helaire last night. The Texans, they look like they are going to miss DeAndre Hopkins a great deal. They did not look like a team with very much explosiveness. They did not look like a team that had much of a downfield passing game. Deshaun Watson, remember, his entire career, he's had DeAndre Hopkins to throw to. How much different is he going to look without that top wide receiver target? We will now find out. And the Texans, I believe, are potentially in a really tough spot. As you look at their first 7 games of the season, there's a decent chance, I think, if you're a Texans fan, where you sit and look at the schedule and think to yourself, we may end up losing a lot of games this year. I'm not sure exactly how it's all going to shake out, but it's probably not going to be very good, I wouldn't imagine, for the Houston Texans as you look at the early part of their schedule. They lost to this game, and then you start to think, okay, well, can they bounce back? Well, they get the Ravens. Good luck with that. That's a tough game at home for their opener. Then they have the Steelers on the road. They then get the Vikings down in Houston, which isn't an easy game. They get the Jags, which hopefully might be their first win because I think there's a decent chance they start off 0-4. Then they go on the road against the Titans. That will not be an easy game. Then they get the Packers. There's a decent chance that they could start 1-7 or 2-6 in their first several games. And so if that ends up happening, this is a tough spot for the Texans to find themselves. Now, schedule gets a lot easier in the second half. So if they could find a way to pull off an upset over the Ravens, if they could beat the Steelers, if they could beat the Vikings, they could win a couple of those games. They can fight their way through, obviously, the Titans in a big division game and find themselves in a somewhat decent spot at the halfway point. But I think you have to be decently nervous about this overall as you look forward. What about the off-the-field related discussions? I thought this went about as well for the NFL as it possibly could. It did not feel like the NFL went full woke and followed the lead of the NBA. The names on the back of the helmets and the statements on the back of the helmets are almost not visible. In the end zones, the messages that are written there are not very noticeable. The whole Chiefs team, with the exception of one player, stood for the National Anthem. The Texans didn't come out for the National Anthem. But that process actually managed to create less attention. If you are out there and you're my listening audience and you're a football fan, but you're like, man, I don't want to watch the NFL because they're going super woke. Well, in week 2, I've been told that CBS, NBC, Fox, and ESPN are not going to cover the protests at all. And so the National Anthem, what teams do, they're going to start the game after that has already occurred, and all you're going to see is what happens as people run out onto the field to begin the game. And so I think that is very good for the NFL. If I am Roger Goodell, I am sitting back and saying, this couldn't have gone any better. It sounded normal. I know we had some fun with Andy Reid's big face shield that started to fog up on him during the course of the game. That in and of itself is pretty funny. But this is certainly something worth following as we move forward, is that I believe the NBA is going to find itself on a woke island. And what I mean by that is the NBA is going way overboard in terms of its wokeness, and nobody else is actually following that lead anywhere. I think this for the NFL felt a little bit like, to me, the opening for Major League Baseball, where baseball made a bunch of statements about politics and social justice and everything else in their opener, and then it's basically vanished. Now it's just baseball. And with fans present, I thought Chiefs fans did a good job of making their voices heard during the game. It sounded and felt almost completely like a normal game, which is a huge win for the NFL, I believe, as we prepare for their opening weekend. Now, there will be some attention given to the Chiefs fans who booed. To me, it's not a big story. The Chiefs were booing most of their fans, the Texans, because the Texans didn't come out for the National Anthem, and so that booing, to me, felt completely connected to that. Also, fans have a right to voice their opinion. If you're going to argue, hey, NFL players or NBA players or Major League Baseball players or whoever it is are going to make political statements, then fans have a right to say, hey, we don't agree with this. That's what fandom is. Your voice can be heard in both directions. I think a lot of times people forget that the First Amendment is a two-way street. You have the right to your opinion, and you can share it widely, but everybody else has the right to respond to your opinion as well. But I think the big takeaway here was that the NFL in their opener had about of as good of a debut as they possibly could. So I wanted to see whether or not my audience agreed with me. And so I asked you guys, what letter grade would you give the NFL for last night's season opener between the Texans and the Chiefs? 41%, well, let me just run through in order. 26% of you gave them an A. 41% of you gave them a B. 18% of you gave them a C. So 85% of my audience, with over 20,000 votes in, gave the NFL opener an A, a B, or a C. 15% gave it a D or an F. I only have 4 options, so D and F is together. And I think if you're the NFL and you're looking at these results of my poll, you are going to be pretty ecstatic about that, because I really anticipated that the number one story coming out of the opening Thursday night game was going to be politics, social justice, on-field behavior that had nothing to do with the game itself, and that was what everybody was going to talk about. Instead, I feel like the NFL managed to dodge a major disaster there, and as a result, this has turned into a really pretty intriguing open for the NFL, where I think they're going to dodge the worst of the disaster that has befallen the NBA, where their ratings have completely collapsed as they have embraced woke social justice politics on the court, on the jerseys, and during the anthem. Also, I think it's intriguing. I want to play this. Do we have the audio ready, Danny G, of what the Dolphins said right as kickoff happened last night?
Yeah, heads up, it's 2 minutes long, but we do have it ready for you.
All right. I want to listen to this, and I want you guys to listen to this. Jason Whitlock and I did a live show last night, and thanks for everybody who watched at least part of that. And we had a live reaction to what happened in the pregame. Jason Whitlock lived and worked in Kansas City for a long time, and he is a big Chiefs fan. And so he was excited to watch this game. And as you sort of look and think about going forward, what Whitlock and I were talking about in relation to this Miami Dolphins video is, in general, it's like they're calling out the rest of the NFL over the empty gestures of kneeling for the anthem or whatever else that has sort of befallen the world of sports over the past year. And effectively what it seems like to me they are saying is the time for sort of empty gestures and social justice faux wokeism is past. Make your own decisions in your own life. The Dolphins, by the way, have said they're not going to come out for the Black National Anthem. They're not going to come out for the United States Anthem. They're just going to stay in the locker room. They don't want to be a part of all of this show. But I thought the statement, the video that they put out right as kickoff happened last night was interesting. Here was that.
Is it authentic? That's the mystery.
Or is it just another symbolic victory?
Now there's 2 anthems. Do we kneel? Do we stand?
If we could just right our wrongs, we wouldn't need 2 songs.
We don't need another publicity parade.
So we'll just stay inside.
Until it's time to play the game.
Whatever happened to the funds that were promised? All of a sudden, we got a collapsed pocket?
The bottom line should not be the net profit.
You can't open your heart when it's controlled by your wallet.
Decals and patches?
Fireworks and trumpets?
We're not puppets.
Don't publicize false budgets.
Ask the pundits, and we shouldn't have a say.
If you speak up for change, then I'll shut up and play.
If we remain silent, that would just be selfish.
Since they don't have a voice, we're speaking up for the helpless.
It's not enough to act like you care for the troops.
Millions for pregame patriotism. You get paid to salute.
Lift every voice and sing.
It's just a way to save face.
Lose the mask and stop hiding the real game face.
So if my dad was a soldier, but the cops killed my brother, do I stand for one anthem and then kneel for the other?
This attempt to unify only creates more divide.
So we'll skip this song and dance.
And as a team, we'll stay inside.
We need changed hearts, not just a response to pressure.
Enough. No more fluff and empty gestures.
We need owners with influence and pockets bigger than ours.
To call up officials
and flex political power.
When education is not determined by where we reside.
And we have the means to purchase what the doctor prescribed.
And you fight for prison reform and innocent lives. And you repair the communities that were tossed to the side.
And you admit you gained from it and you swallowed your pride.
And when greed is not the compass, but love is the guide.
And when the courts don't punish skin color, but punish the crime.
Until then, we'll just skip the long production and stay inside.
For centuries, we've been trying to make you aware.
Either you're in denial or just simply don't really care.
It's not a black-white thing.
Or a left-right thing.
Let's clean the whole bird.
And stop arguing about which wing.
But look, I understand some of you are going to be like, they're idiots, I disagree with it, whatever. To me, the most interesting part here is they're acknowledging that all of this social justice warriordom is by and large a sham, right? I mean, I'm not going to kneel. I'm going to change the world by not standing for the national anthem. No, you're not, right? You're creating more divisiveness, in my opinion. But even if you think, this is changing the world, first of all, the data doesn't reflect that it is. But secondly, it's just a big show, right? It's just a big production. That's all that's going on here. There's nothing substantive or substantial associated with it. And so I think a lot of teams are just going to decide not to come out for the national anthem. And if that, in fact, is what they are deciding to do, then I think this story is basically just going to vanish. Because that's the truth, right? Is that for many people, especially without fans present, this is going to look even more ridiculous. Like, that's my thing about the NBA. Kneeling for the national anthem in the NBA when there are no fans present is entirely a television production design. It isn't about changing anything. It's about trying to get social media likes and have people on Instagram happy and everything. It's total lunacy, right? 90% of sports fans look to sports as an escape from reality. And I understand that athletes, because it's their job, they're like, this isn't an escape from reality. This is my reality. I understand that perspective, but that's not why you get paid millions of dollars. You get paid millions of dollars because you provide an escape from reality for the vast majority of sports fans who have no interest whatsoever in your politics. That's the truth. Most people don't care. I mean, athletes may not like this, but most people don't care about an athlete's life other than for the 3 hours that they are providing entertainment in football or basketball or whatever else it is. And I'm saying that for all entertainment, right? I don't think most people care what Robert Downey Jr. is doing in his life other than when he's performing as Iron Man. I don't think most people cared back in the day about Tobey Maguire's life other than when he's being Spider-Man, right? Most people who are entertainers, whether you're a singer, songwriter, whatever you do, most people don't really care about a singer's life, by and large. Diehards do. But most people care about a singer's new album. They care about a singer at a concert. They don't care about anything else other than the question of, are they or are they not entertained? I sound like Maximus back in the Gladiator days when he walked around saying, are you not entertained inside of the Coliseum when he killed people too fast? But the truth of the matter is sports figures, whether they want to be or not, make their money because they're entertainers. And as soon as you stop entertaining, then the number of people who are going to watch is going to go down. I mean, this isn't rocket science. And so I think the Dolphins there are basically calling out what all of this is, which is a sham. Now, I give credit to the Kansas City Chiefs for standing. I think some teams will decide to stand. I think the number of teams that will decide to kneel will be low. I think there will be fan reactions when the fans see that teams are kneeling for the national anthem, because I think there's a big divide between players and fans over that importance. But I think if players are staying in the locker room by and large for a lot of this, because there is a major issue associated with this, and maybe you give the NFL credit for playing the, quote-unquote black national anthem. I think players have recognized, wait a minute, if we kneel for the black national anthem, if we kneel for the United States national anthem and we stand for the black national anthem, that's going to make us look really bad. If we kneel for both, what's the point? And so I think this story is basically over. I really do. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think by week 2, when the NFL stops covering all the protests, I think most people are going to be like, yeah, I'm over this. There's so much sports going on. They're going to watch the sports that they like. They're not going to watch the other sports. If you choose not to watch because of politics, I respect that. That's how marketplaces work. You can choose what to consume with your entertainment dollars. And I always say that no matter what. Like if I watch a television show and it stops being entertaining, I don't watch it anymore. And the NFL is a television show. It's an entertainment product. It's a reality television show. Sports are the best reality television programming that there's ever been. And so if you don't like a reality show, don't watch it. Same thing I would always say. But we had the first game played. I think it went well for the NFL. When we come back, we will theoretically be joined by Joel Klatt. We may be waking him up. I don't know. He's not responding to my text messages. He told me he was good to go. I hope he's okay. I hope he's in a good hotel. I hope he's ready for the college football season. We'll see if we can get him in the next segment.